My name is Michael Neff. I am an associate professor of crop biotechnology at Washington State University in Pullman, Washington. This video is part of an application to give a TEDx talk at Western Washington University in Bellingham, Washington. My daughter is a freshman at Western and hopes to be a biology major. She and her friends have asked me to submit this TEDx talk application. The theme of the event at Western is renovations building our future. To me, renovation is taking something that has good bones, a good framework, and then building upon that or rebuilding upon that using all of the latest advances in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. The outcome is a more efficient unit that can interact more effectively and possibly sustainably with its environment. This concept can be applied, for example, to a building or a population or a process. Many people, including myself, believe that modern agriculture is in need of some renovation. As a professor at a land-grant university, I have learned that those that are calling for this renovation cannot necessarily agree on which bones or framework we should be building upon. One camp believes that organic agriculture is the framework that we should start with. Organic agriculture, by definition, includes no genetically modified organisms, or GMOs. Another camp believes that modern agriculture and agribusiness is the framework that we should be building upon. Modern agribusiness is becoming more and more dependent on GMOs. In the middle of this debate sits Monsanto and other large biotech companies, which act as lightning rods from both sides. The purpose of my talk is to open up a dialogue with regard to these two sides. I am not trying to convince anyone that one side is right and one side is wrong. Instead, my hypothesis is that we can draw from each of the benefits of these different approaches and renovate a new agriculture that is more efficient, more effective, and more sustainable. I also believe that the anti-GMO tactics and approaches, which are fueled by images of syringes, mutant plants, and biohazard signs, are counterproductive to the anti-big agribusiness, anti-Monsanto movement. What I hope to do with this talk is to create an environment where people can learn about GM technology, learn on a case-by-case basis about the pros and cons of this approach, and make informed decisions based on knowledge and not on emotions. I begin my talk by asking the audience, how many people in this room are related to somebody who is insulin-dependent diabetic or has been or is fighting cancer? I then point out that human insulin is now made by genetically modified bacteria, and that this insulin is far less expensive and far, far safer than the insulin that used to be produced from pigs, dogs, and other animals. With regard to cancer, I show people the origins of Taxol, which is a very, very effective chemotherapy drug. It comes from the Pacific yew tree, from the bark underneath the cells underneath the bark of the Pacific yew tree. Taxol is now also manufactured at a very low expense rate and with high quality, high purity, using genetically modified bacteria. Without biotechnology, we would have no more Pacific yew trees, and therefore we would have no more Taxol. I've given this talk in a longer version over the past year in many different venues to almost 600 people. My audiences range from the Washington tilth producers, which are organic farmers, over 200 were at that talk, to traditional agribusiness companies such as Far West Agribusiness and Crop Production Services. I've also spoken to Shepherd's Grain, which is a no-till local wheat growing organization here on the Palouse. Recently I gave this talk to the Pullman League of Women Voters, and next weekend I will be speaking at the Sandhill Crane Festival in Othello, Washington.